one important issue in sociolinguistics is the risk of extinction of minority languages. We know there are two kinds of minorities. Minorities in their own land, native minorities, like Red Indians in the United States, Aboriginal people in Australia, the tribal people in Bangladesh, like Chakma, Khashia, etc. The other minorities are those who are minorities in foreign land. For example, the Bangladeshi people migrating to United States or Canada or any other country. The risk of extinction of minority languages is more in minorities of foreign land, those who migrate from their own countries to other countries. The migrating first generation people, they try to maintain their native language, mother tongue. They speak in their own language at home. But when it comes to the second generation, they try to lose their language because the children speak English in the schools. When they watch TV, this is a foreign language. Go to the market, the foreign language. Everywhere there's a foreign language. They tend to forget their minority language, their own language, because not many people are speaking their language. When it comes to the third generation, it is even worse. In most of the cases, they lose their own language. So there is a high risk of losing an extinction of the minority languages in case of migration. Now the question arises, what is the problem then? Is it important to preserve their own language? I think yes, this is important. The reason is this, that language is a vehicle of culture. People speak in their own language, they practice their own culture. In foreign country, when they meet other people of their language, they tend to speak in their own language. That means if they don't socialize, they don't meet their people who speak their language, they don't have any opportunity to speak in their language. So in that way, they lose the socialization, which has great effect on their culture. Because if they meet those people who belong to their culture, it has cultural influence. So if you want to keep the cultural identity, it is very important that you maintain language which will motivate you to speak to those people who belong to this culture. Now, next question is this. Is it important to preserve the culture? What is the problem if you lose your culture and you get adjusted to foreign culture totally? Is there any problem? Yes, there is a problem. Let us think about the Bangladeshi people. In Bangladesh, 90% or more than 90% people are Muslims. They have their own culture. If they are going to the United States or any westernized countries, they have cultural shock. In the first generation, they try to maintain their culture and protect their own culture. Because there is a cultural difference. In Bangladeshi people who are Muslims, free mixing of opposite sexes, living together, extramarital relationship, these are not allowed in this culture. But if you go to the West, living together is a culture. Free mixing is a culture, socially accepted. So if the Bangladeshi people are going there and losing their own culture, they're losing their own values. The cultural values are very important. Now, what is the problem in losing our culture and getting into their culture? The problem is obvious. You see the free mixing and living together. This culture is creating many social problems. Broken families. They don't want to get married. Even if they are married, then they broken very frequently in very short time. They don't want to have children. That's why in many westernized countries, the population growth rate is negative. 2 people are dying and they are not leaving behind 2 children. And diseases, psychological problems, and many issues. Even they are very worried about it. So in this case, those Bangladeshis who are going there, if they can maintain their own culture, then it will be good for them. To maintain that culture, it is important that they socialize, they meet those people who belong to the same culture, and for that it is important to have the language, because language will motivate them to meet those people. So if you want to maintain and preserve your culture and cultural identity, it is important to protect and preserve the language. Now, how to preserve this? How to protect the language? How to save our own language or minority language from extinction? There are many ways. One way will be to get some government support. In Canada, the French language is a second language. This is a minority language, but this is officially recognized. Not many people or not many languages will be like that, but still, if in their education system, if the foreign languages are recognized as a second language in the education system, then there will be good opportunity to save the language. Second thing, the migrant people, the speakers of minority languages should get together, and they should have some opportunities for socialization. They can arrange some weekend social gathering, and they might have some center of their own language and country. In that way, they can speak to each other in their own language, and also they can interact to protect and save and preserve their cultural identity. That is why it is important to protect, to save, to preserve minority languages. Thank you.